Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. This is your April 2019 Astrology and Tarot forecast. There's a lot going on in April, and while I shuffle the cards, before we start, let me remind you that this is a general reading, that it will not apply to every Sagittarius on the planet. The placements that I give, the house placements, are based on Sagittarius rising placements, but you will feel this energy if you have your sun, moon, or rising in Sagittarius. I also recommend you checking your moon and rising sign for additional messages or clarity on what you may receive here now. So on the 5th of the month, we have a new moon at 15 degrees of Aries. This is in your 5th house, Sagittarius. The 5th house I think of as the house of sparks. It's the spark of love, the spark of creation, the spark of life. This could also speak to your social sphere, the people that you go out with and have over to your house. This isn't like 11th house, big social media. This is your personal friends. And this is also, like if you're an artist, this is where you create your masterpiece. This is also where you fall in love. It's where you have the most skin in the game. It's where you have your fingerprints if you're a sculptor, or it's a very personal house. It's where you go to blow off steam. New moon there in the 5th house means that for some of you, it could be that your social sphere is changing. For others of you, there could be a situation where some of you may be dealing with an unanticipated pregnancy, because the 5th house is where conception starts. It's the spark of life. It's where you make your babies. It's the creation of them. On the 10th of the month, we have Jupiter, the planet of increase, excess, and expansion, going retrograde in your sign, Sagittarius, in the 1st house until August 11th of this year. Jupiter going retrograde gives you an opportunity to decompress a little bit. We had a card literally just kind of ease itself out, so I'm going to cut the deck, but I'm going to keep speaking. Okay. Another card also insisted. Actually folded in half in my hand while I was trying to get the deck placed for cutting. So interesting. Some stuff wants to be said. I'm from Louisiana. It is my adopted home state. And when you get an extra card, I call them lagniappe cards. So Jupiter going retrograde in your sign gives you an opportunity to decompress, gives you an opportunity to reflect, gives you an opportunity to look back on what has happened while Jupiter has been in your sign for the first half of its transit throughout. The 1st house is the house of your body, your personality, and your appearance. It may be that you start reeling it in a little bit if you're an overly boisterous Sagittarius. On the 10th of the month as well, we have the Sun in Aries squaring Saturn in Capricorn. This is a square between your 5th and your 2nd house. 5th house, again, that house of sparks, house of creation, social life, blowing off steam, that sort of thing, is at a tug of war, presenting a difficult aspect energy to the 2nd house of your earning ability, your money, your love, your values, your possessions. So it could be that you are dealing with, I want to go out, but I can't, where there's a lot of social pressures on me, and I no longer align with the people that are putting these pressures on me. Those types of things. And for some of you that are ending up pregnant, it's like, okay, I didn't have the money for, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Where are the resources going to come from? What are my values tied to being a parent, etc., etc. I'm shuffling for you right now the Lenormand deck. It's about half the size of the tarot deck. It's a very salty little deck, but I use them to help give clarification in the reading as well. On the 13th of the month, we have the same sort of energy playing out. It's the Sun in Aries squaring Pluto in Capricorn this time, between that 5th and 2nd house, re-emphasizing the things that you need to pay attention to when the retrogrades come up at the end of the month. On the 17th of the month, we have Mercury moving into Aries in that 5th house, giving you an opportunity to clarify or reiterate your point, because there may have been some miscommunication especially dealing with your 4th house, because that's where Mercury was retrograde. So Mercury moving into that 5th house means there's going to be some movement. There's going to be some chatter in that 5th house. There's going to be some motion necessary. I'm not able to really keep my hands on any of these cards. They're all, it feels very jumpy. Some of you may be dealing with some anxiety. Some of you, yeah. Just the cards are, normally they feel very solid in my hand, and right now they don't. Each deck has felt different. I mean, this card, I don't know if you can see it, but that was a card that kind of bent in half, and it won't lay flat now. So I'm going to have to put it in a book when my readings are done so I can flatten it back out. But yeah, just jumpy, maybe having a hard time staying still, maybe wanting to make a jump or a leap in one way or another. On the 19th of April, we have a full moon at 29 degrees of Libra. This is your 11th house, and that is that. Oh, Lord, I just said jump, right? Got the frog. The frog showed up in a different reading. I can't remember. I think it was Scorpio. So this could be maybe involving a Scorpio. You may want to watch the Scorpio video, get some information as well. But yeah, this full moon on the 19th at 29 degrees of Libra indicates an ending of this emotional cycle in that 11th house of your social networking. And this can be online or face-to-face. It can deal with the teams, groups, memberships, and associations that you belong to as well. Could be highlighting something in that area of life for you, Sagittarius. And it could be, illumination through social media, illumination through social networking, being, online or face-to-face, and or dealing with the chatter that comes from the groups, memberships, teams, or associations that you belong to. On the 20th of the month, we have Venus moving into Aries, giving you the energy of love, beauty, harmony, money, and resources moving into that 5th house, giving you an opportunity to be more charming in that area of social life, giving you an opportunity to bring more beauty and maybe even some luck into that 5th house. The 5th house is the house of gambling, and Jupiter is in your sign right now. So it wouldn't be a bad idea for some of you to go out there if you're feeling lucky and you have the resources to do it, to maybe buy a lottery ticket. I wouldn't bet everything on the house, but I would maybe take $5 if I had it and buy a Powerball or a scratch off. You may get lucky. And if you do, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to celebrate your win with you. Also on the 20th, we have the sun moving into Taurus. This is your 6th house of work, health, competency, and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It's your daily life, your daily agenda, your daily to-do list. It deals with your pets as well. These are the things that you do to make your life, your body, your surroundings work at its most efficient level possible. The sun moving in this house means that there's a spotlight going to be on here for the month, giving you an opportunity to really focus in on that area of life. On the 22nd, we have that sun that just moved into Taurus, conjuncting Uranus, the planet of liberation, revolution, rebelliousness, shocks and surprises, electricity, and the internet. It's going to be conjunct Taurus in that 6th house of work and health, or competency and skills you bring to the services that you provide. You could be looking online for some stuff about work or about going to school so you can add some extra credentials to your resume, or even going online to possibly check out some health symptoms, because it's work and health. Understand that with health, it's the first wealth, and without it, you can do nothing else. And it may be that day you get a gentle reminder of that as well. It may not feel so gentle with it being Uranus involved, but I hope that it's gentle and not earth-shattering, shocking. On the On the 24th of the month, I'm sorry, I'm still recording this under a Mercury retrograde influence, so I'm prone to misspeaking a little bit. On the 24th of the month, we have Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto represents the shadow, the unconscious, the subconscious, the unseen, the dark underbelly of things. Going retrograde in Capricorn is giving you an opportunity to look at those themes in your second house of your money, earning ability, self-esteem, your possessions, your values, your self-love, and your self-care as well. On the 27th of the month, we have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. And this is going to be another tug-of-war energy between the 7th house and the 4th house. 7th house is the house of your collaboration, your relationships, your open partnerships. Also dealing with like open litigation in court, open enemies, open beef that you have with people. Squaring the 4th house between your home, family, roots, stability, and foundations. The 4th house, that roots, stability, family point is the part of Neptune, or where Neptune is being squared by Mars. So it could be that you hear something through somebody that you deal with on the outside world, and it really affects you or impacts you home-wise, family-wise, stability-wise. And if it isn't that, then it could also be looking to possibly your bones or teeth, because that is the structure of the human body as well. On the 30th, we have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn until September 18th of this year. So this is occurring as well in the 2nd house. Pluto and Saturn retrograde in Capricorn is giving us an opportunity to really look at the foundation of the 2nd house. And if it isn't built to code, it will be tested to the point of destruction for the sake of reconstruction, maybe even sacred reconstruction, breaking you down to that point where you have nothing else but to rebuild from the beginning. And that's a difficult start, but it's one that you also get an opportunity to make sure is aligned with the human being that you are right now, and not maybe who you were or who you want it to be, because sometimes we get tripped up on that too. Saturn is asking that you pay attention to the structure, the boundaries, the restrictions, the rules, and the authority figures in that 2nd house for you. Let's talk about the tarot cards now. So the card that kind of eased itself out is the 3 of Pentacles. And this is a card of like teamwork and collaboration. I also see it as like a card of proving yourself and testing your worth in front of like a jury of your peers. I see this filigree as needing teamwork and collaboration to actually make it work. Not everybody is going to be skilled in each of the things that need to be done in this artistry. The way that the filigree looks, it also looks kind of like a key. That number 3 speaks to the 3rd house, and that's dealing with communication, your short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, people in your neighborhood. It may be that there needs to be some sort of collaboration that comes through that 3rd house. It could be communication collaboration, or it could be actual like neighborhood watch kind of collaboration, if you want to see it like that. The Pentacles deal with earth signs, and that is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The second card that actually just would not go back in the deck while I was trying to get the cards to the desk so I could cut them. This was the card that I bent, so it was like very forceful. The 5 deals with the theme of adversity, and there is a lot of energy playing out in that 5th house, especially during the first part of the month. The 5 of Wands can speak to fire signs. That would be Aries, Leo, or you, Sagittarius. This 5 of Wands talks about disagreement and strife, and it could be dealing with actual collaborative disagreement or teamwork strife. It could also be like this is playful banter that has kind of gotten out of control, and now some people are feeling some sort of way about it as well. I think it speaks very strongly to the fact that you are probably going to be feeling defensive in social spheres, especially in social situations where you're out with your friends, and that you are either going to be defensive of yourself or be defensive of the group, and be very Sagittarian with it. Now, the underlying theme or overarching energy of the spread, which was the bottom card of the cut deck, is the Three of Wands. Another 3, highlighting again the theme of communication, or that third house. And the Three of Wands speaks to the idea of being prepared and being having the foresight to prepare, understanding that forewarned is forearmed. And I also see this as making a choice, leaving things that no longer work for you, serve you, or make you feel good about yourself, leaving them behind, kind of like a cutting away period as well. Wands again deal with fire signs. It's a lot of communication issues. It could be that there's been a lot of miscommunication with Mercury being retrograde, probably especially in the household. There's been a lot of miscommunication between your family or between the people that you share a home with. Now, in the top 3 for clarity, the first card that we got is a Major Arcana card. This is the 5th card of the Major Arcana, the Hierophant, however you want to pronounce it. It is associated with the sign of Taurus. So this could speak to the second half of the month, from like the 20th on. Could also be that you're dealing with someone throughout the month that's just very strong Taurus energy. This card deals with the theme of authority figures and the processes that have to go through the status quo in getting something done. This isn't a one-stop shop. This is having paperwork or a request or something that has to go through many people's hands, and there has to be a consensus. It's not just we stop here and that's it. We had the 3 of Pentacles show up with the thing that looked like a key. We have 2 keys right here at the Hierophant's foot. The number 3 keeps showing up. Be careful with your car keys. It's like some of you may go out on the town and have a really good time and end up losing your purse, losing your car keys, and it ends up wrecking the rest of the month because you're undoing all of the damage that may have happened. Like, I could see for some of you it being like your phone is in your purse and your wallet's in your purse and everything in there is, now they have everything about you and it's completely gone. That's very much what, it could kind of be like as well. And then you have to go to the authority figures and report it to let them know what's going on. And like I said, that's for some of you. For some of you, it may be that you're finding out that you're dealing with a pregnancy that you didn't anticipate or weren't expecting, and now you're dealing with either expectations or judgment in one way or another from people in your social sphere, and it is going against your values or what you thought you valued in them. It's something like that tug of war energy. We have the 9 of Cups as well. The 9 speaks to the theme of fruition, and the Cups speak to water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And this guy is read by many readers as the wish fulfillment card. I need a sip real quick. Hang on. Ever since Uranus moved back into Taurus, I have been dehydrated AF. So, 9 of Cups. 9 is fruition. Cups are water signs or emotions, emotional validation, things that emotionally fulfill you. This is a card of comfort and satisfaction. Some people see this as like the shop owner. I see this as the happy collector. Only needs one more cup to fulfill the 10 of Cups, and that's as many cups as you can get in this set. Somebody may be being a little prideful in your group. And it could be you or it could be somebody else. and it could be rubbing people the wrong way. It's also a card of satisfaction, though. So for some of you, you're happy with the situation that has happened. And for others of you, there are people sitting back and looking at you, happy about what you've gotten yourself into. Third card in the top three for clarity is the Six of Pentacles. The six is a number that deals with the theme of growth. And whenever I see the theme of growth, I am reminded to mention that without growing pains, there can be no growth. And what I mean by that is that you're going to experience pain when growth comes. That's part of the process. The Pentacles are earth signs. That's Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. This is speaking to the earthly material plane. It's also the different resources that we have at our disposal. That's not just money. That's time, energy, and even your health. Health is the first wealth. Without it, you could do no wrong. This card deals with generosity, charity, and giving. Now, I think it also speaks to, aside from the sixth house energy that's occurring at the second part of the month, I believe that it's dealing with the theme of the full moon as well, approaching whatever is occurring in that 11th house with the energy of a Libra, trying to be compassionate, trying to be understanding, not codependent, but loving and willing to discuss what needs to be discussed to make it right again, to balance the scales. It could be involving a Libra as well, because the scales are very representative of Libra. Charity, generosity, giving. Some of you may be finding out that you're pregnant and you have to go to, it's like arguing about a baby shower. Who's going to throw it? That sort of stuff. Or birthday party. Who's going to help pay? It's a mutual friend. Or I want a loan so I can create this masterpiece. But I have to communicate with these people and prove my worth and go through the process. And then even after that, once you get the loan, you have to produce that masterpiece, whatever it is, so that you can have it monetized, so that you can pay back the loan, right? So anyways, from the Lenormand deck, I pulled for you two cards. The bottom of the deck is the Ship card. This card has shown up before. I think of you when I see this card because this card speaks to travel and movement, and you're a sign that is associated with going as far as you can go, as far on the other side of the horizon as you can see. That's as far as you want to get. The Ship deals with travel, trade, motion, movement. It could be that some of you want to go on a cruise and you just can't afford it. It's like everybody's getting together, or you can't afford it, and one of your friends is like, "I'll loan you the money, but you got to pay me back by X date." And then there's no real communication on how this loan needs to be paid back. One way it could be read, could be that, yeah, you're looking for a loan in one way or another to help support this idea, this dream, this creation that's coming about, and you've got to reach out and ask for it. And people may be looking to your past to see if you are worthy of said loan or not, and that's not a judgment from me. That would be more a judgment from them, and that's going by the card's posturing. We've also got another delineator we can look at. We've got 10 of Spades. That would be the 10 of Swords. The 10 is a number of completion. The swords are air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Dealing with defeat, loss, and crisis. So it may be like, for some people, travel is first vacation in 10 years. You think it's going to be great, and then it's like, oh crap, it's horrible. I hate it. These people who I thought I knew, I don't know. I shouldn't have planned this during a Mercury retrograde. I regret it, blah, blah, blah. On the other side of it, it could be that you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay back said loan that was talked about earlier. The second card, this was the top of the deck. This is the second card of the Lenormand deck, the Clover. And Whenever I see the rainbow, I think that there has been a recent storm. So there is either a storm that is going to blow through or has blown through, just depending on when you're watching this and what's going on in your chart. But a storm has blown through and you're trying to get through on the other side. By the end of the month, it should be hopefully blown completely over. The clover is a card of like gambling and a small luck. So again, like I said, you may want to put a little bit of money down. I wouldn't do it on like a riverboat gambling thing. I would do something that deals with printed, like the electronically printed tickets, or something on land that is electronic, like a slot machine or video poker or something like that. Don't spend a lot of money, but you may have a little bit of luck in that. And if you go overboard, you may be dealing with that Ten of Swords tied to the ship energy of feeling like you've had a big loss. We don't want a big loss. We want a big win. And the clover gives you small luck. We can also look to the Six of Diamonds. The Six of Diamonds would be the Six of Pentacles or coins in the tarot deck. And what's interesting is we have that card showed up in your reading. So the scales are tipping in your favor if luck has not been on your side. If luck has been on your side and you haven't done right with it, then it could be that the scales are tipping against your favor. Really just depends. Free will is a thing. The Six of Coins, again, is a card of generosity, charity, or giving. So it could be that if you do get a little bit of money, you should be charitable to it. Some of you may want to donate to the church. I don't know how the church would feel about getting money from gambling. I come from Southern Baptist roots where when the lottery was voted in Louisiana, a lot of the preachers were against it, and just it is what it is. Whatever your particular dogma is, that's fine. Just understand that when you've got it, it's nice to share, and when you don't, you need to express that you don't have it, have enough self-worth to explain your situation, ask for the loan, ask for the generosity, the charity, and then repay it if it's necessary on the other side, is what it's really kind of screaming three different ways. For some of you, it may be that you need a loan for a vehicle so you can get around. The card that I pulled for you from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed is the Frog Spirit card. This says clear out the clutter. Number 28 card, 2 plus 8 is 10. And that speaks to the 10th house on the astrological wheel. You don't have any active 10th house situation going on from my notes. However, the 10th house is the house of Capricorn, and that is where Saturn and Pluto are being squared at the beginning of the month and going retrograde at the end of the month. And the South Node is also where Capricorn is, and that's going to be activated this month too. When you think of the South Node, think of like flushing a toilet to remove the purge is the best analogy I can think of. It is like a vacuum pulling that stuff away. So whatever it is that is being destroyed, this sacred deconstruction for reconstruction's sake, it's supposed to be going away now. And it's your job to let it. And that's another thing that this Frog Spirit card is going to speak a little bit more about. There's an oracle message and a protective message. I'm going to give you both. The oracle message reads, clear out the clutter. Frog Spirit knows while all the other frogs are croaking away, this is time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Even when life isn't creating a total cacophony, I think I pronounced that right, we can become drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then, the next thing we know, our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments we regret making and objects taking up valuable space. Even relationships need decluttering as they often become messy. Frog Spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give away the rest so that you can have some space in your day and in your head. You don't need the old stuff and its story shouting out shouting at you about the past. Along with physical clutter, friendships are sometimes kept long past their expiration date and weighing you down with unnecessary baggage. Now is the time to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it. So release your grip on all that clutter that is making you feel so anxious and burdened. I did say at the beginning it felt like there was some anxiety going on with the cards. Frog Spirit says you need to reclaim your space, unencumbered by the shoulds, oughts, and could have beens. Let go and jump. You are free from all of that old stuff. The protective message reads, what's weighing you down? Is it time for a spiritual and psychic cleansing? Are you overdue for letting go of the voices that surround you? They may have started to get into your head. These voices that bog you down and keep you from leaping forward into a better situation. Let others croak and create their dramas while you make space for yourself and for hearing your own thoughts as they arise. Declutter your schedule and stop trying to do it all and then some. Let others manage their own baggage rather than allowing it to be dumped on you. For your lily pad needs to be clear of others' clutter. Frog Spirit may come to you bearing a message about your physical space. Do you hold on to things because you're afraid of losing your energetic connection to the past, to people who are no longer in your life, or to goals that you never pursued? Or could you have these items around because you would feel guilty if you got rid of them? Are your storage and living spaces stuffed with the reminder of what you are not, when you should be holding on to objects that reflect who you are and aspire to be? If something is no longer making you feel joyful, empowered, or excited, Frog Spirit is telling you to let it go and to free yourself to leap forward into something brand new, trusting that you will have what you need. If there was ever a sign to be told it's all right to jump forward, I think it would be you, Sagittarius. Whatever it is that you're holding on to so tightly, release your grip just a little. The analogy of holding sand in your hand, trying to grip it, it runs out. But when you hold it in an open hand, you can keep it collected in your hand. Allow for the space that needs to be made, because nature abhors a void. But you can't receive anything new if you're still weighed down with the old. That's what I've got for you, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I am sending you a lot of love, and I hope that you're well, and I hope that you're being kind to yourself and saving some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. Make space for the new. Clear out the clutter. I will see y'all soon, Sagittarius. Take care. I love y'all. Bye.